Hello and welcome to the Money Marketing Podcast, and welcome to this special series of weekend essay podcasts. Join us as we delve into the personal narratives of our editorial team, exploring the intersection of life experiences and financial advice. From triumphs to setbacks, each episode offers a candid glimpse into the journeys that shape our perspectives on money management. Get ready to uncover the human side of finance as we share our stories, insights, and lessons learned along the way. Welcome to the Weekend Essays on the Money Marketing Podcast.
I've written a couple of previous weekend essays about the amount of debt I've accrued. It's completely my own fault, of course, for not living more frugally. I take you only live once and you might die tomorrow to the extreme when it comes to spending money. The last time I wrote about my debt was in August 2023. When I laid out my plan to get money fit. I said I was going to make sure I was in a better financial position by August last year, and although I didn't go into the exact details of how, it did involve cutting down on spending, obviously. I said in that weekend essay that I wrote it because it was therapeutic to do so, and so that you guys could serve as my accountability coach. And I must say, you've been terrible accountability coaches. Now, in February 2025, I'm in the most debt I've ever been in. And it's not unmanageable, but I still would massively benefit from not having it. The problem is, I've always been able to draw money from somewhere. Backup savings, credit cards, personal loans. And I never think I've gone so far as to not be able to pay it back. But, of course, the more I owe, the slower I pay back. Then I get demotivated and think, well, I'm in it now, might as well keep going. Completely the wrong attitude, I am aware. It doesn't, and does, help that I have thousands of pounds in a lifetime ISA, which is kind of like my safety blanket. People, often who have little knowledge of how ISAs work, have asked me why I don't just take the majority of that out to pay off my debt. Well, my answer is that if I did that, I'd lose about £6,000 because of not being able to keep the government bonus and being charged the extra 6.25% I'd have to give back for withdrawing. I also very much do not want to rely on my parents, hugely generous as they are, to get out of it. I need to do it myself. But the truth is, until recently, I haven't truly and genuinely wanted to change my money habits. Until last month, that is, when the 6 weeks between paydays, coupled with Christmas and New Year spending, really started to bite and I found myself in the most precarious financial position I've ever been in. So I sat down with my boyfriend, who's equally live in the moment as me, and we had an hours-long conversation about how to get into a better position financially. He mentioned that he has a friend whose salary is about 60k, but he lives like he earns 20k. I thought that was probably a bit far for me, but my boyfriend said it meant that he had accrued enough savings that when he needed a new car, he could just go out and buy a nearly brand new Mercedes outright, with no monthly finance payments. Okay, I don't want a Mercedes or a new car of any kind, but it did highlight to me something I already knew deep down, that it can pay to be sensible. I don't want to go to the extreme of living like I earn 20k a year, but this conversation made me really genuinely want to change my money mindset. After all, you can only change your habits long term if you truly want to. One thing my boyfriend suggested was something some of his friends have done when they've been hard up or just wanted to save, and that is focus on a specific amount per week rather than per month. For example, you can set a maximum amount you can spend each week and put it into separate envelopes or separate accounts in your banking app. It sounds so simple and obvious, but I did it in February and it's been so effective. I have much more money left today than I usually do at the end of the month. In this situation, my boyfriend was effectively acting as my financial coach, and he did a very good job of it. Obviously, in my situation, full-fat advice would not be appropriate. But if I really want to instill a mindset where I'm not spending well above my means every month in the long term and not slip back into old habits, perhaps a qualified financial coach would be a good idea. When I attended the Lancat's most recent conference in London earlier in February, there was a guy on one of the panels called Pete Matthew, a financial planner and chief executive of Jackson's Wealth Management. He spoke about financial coaching as an emerging profession and an obvious solution to fill the advice gap. He said, in a world where you can open an ISA in 40 seconds, the key element is behaviour, which isn't regulated and can be addressed at a much lower cost, making it more accessible. He also suggested financial coaching has a much lower barrier to entry for those wanting to work in this space without the burden of regulation. I'm sure money marketing readers know the difference between a coach and an advisor. While advisors provide specific product recommendations, coaches are not regulated and do not provide guidance on products. Instead, they aim to understand your financial goals and behaviour around money so that you can help yourself. I feel very positive after successfully sticking to my plan for the whole of February, but sticking to it forever will obviously be more challenging. This is where coaching could be ideal for someone like me because I don't have enough savings to put into any products yet anyway. All I need is someone to help me understand the exact reasons behind how I've got into debt and help me change my mindset so I can rectify it for good.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of our weekend essay series. We do hope that you enjoyed it. Please do keep up to date with all our new releases via Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts from. You can also keep up to date with all our new content published on the Money Marketing website, as well as our print edition Money Marketing magazine, so make sure to subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. See you next time.